Hi, I'm Tony Fleming, and this is Fleming's Ultimate Garage.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on today's video. Listen, normally I'm walking around card paperwork, describing the vehicle and the list that if you ever came here, that's what we have in the windows of the cars here. The problem is these cars have just come in. I haven't even had a chance to get those typed up and put on the window, but I wanted to make sure we did the video on the car because these are going to fly out of here really quickly. You know, we have a restoration shop that off premises here, and we do these cars all the time. This one here, just freshly done. Matter of fact, you could actually still smell the wet paint on the car, and the paint is really, really nice. So kudos to Barney for the great job that he does with his crew there. But anyway, this car, which is kind of cool, first off, it's Viking blue, which I love Viking blue paint. Secondly, it's the original Viking blue car, so it was coated from the factory that way, and it looks really, really good. Color matched the rallies on there, the Goodyear Eagles, and I like to talk about the paint a little bit because what we do is, you know, we strip this down to bare metal, this car, all right? Then we paint it. Wet sand a little bit, then we go ahead and we stripe it here, which is supposed to be not on the trunk as well. A lot of people don't know that on the 442s, they don't get stripes on the trunk. We put the rear wing on there, and then we go ahead and we clear coat the whole car. So this looks really nice, but what I'm getting at is that when this has the clear coat paint over top of it, you're less likely to have the stripes start to tear, wear off, and things like that. But what I did want to show you is the quality of the paint, since I didn't have my normal stuff in my hand. The reflection, so that you can see, is really quite spectacular. White paint doesn't show up so well, but I just wanted you to see how beautifully crystal clear everything is in there. It's just really, really just nicely done. The grills we redid, the emblems, headlight buckets, trim rings, the bumpers are all nicely done. All that stuff that you would have to do has already been done. And the great thing about these cars is this car happens to be a bench seat car. We could easily convert it to buckets and a console, and that's probably the only thing I would do with the car if you wanted. A lot of people love the bench seat. First off, they no longer make a bench seat car here in the US. Secondly, you can carry 2 couples, 4 kids, wife, husband, everybody can go for a ride in this car and have a really, really great time. So I just love the look of that. Anyway, we got the W30 stripes on the side. We painted inside the wheel wells. The nice stuff in here, like you can't even see, is all new disc brakes are in here. Nice fresh rotors and calipers, lug nut, all that little stuff, man. This is this kind of stuff that you really want to make sure that's kind of what you're getting. All right, let's take a peek under the hood for a minute. I love this Ram Air hood. This right here is one of the best looking muscle car hoods ever. And it's what makes the 70 and up models more popular, believe it or not, than the 69 and olders. Even the bodies are a little similar to the 68 and 69s. The hood is really what people love about it, and that rear wing. Okay, we were first finishing up the engine detail in here and stuff like that. The springs that came in the car, I didn't love them, so instead of painting them, whatever, we're getting new ones, and plus we're getting the correct ones, all right? We got the battery topper over here, power disc brakes, which we talked about, power steering, which we did not talk about, and those are some of the things you forget to ask about. Engine is all nicely detailed. It's got the Ram Air cleaner. The air cleaner alone is somewhere around $800, just to give you an idea. The hood is $1,000. That's just the hood, not counting the paint, the striping, the hood locks, and all that stuff. You can see how quickly this stuff adds up. Over here, air conditioning. Come on over here, Justin, for a second so we can show the detail under the hood. Air conditioning here, all nicely done. Everything's detailed. You could go to a show. It's got the decals in the right spots. Everything just looks really nice. And if you want to, we have this here, which we can leave, or we could put hood springs on the car if you want to. Some people don't love hood springs, and I'm not sure it matters either way, but just to give you an idea of the detail there. So it looks great. All the stuff's been cleaned up, painted, nice bolts, washer fluid, overflow engine coolant. All those things are in place so that you can enjoy the car. And again, this is one of those great cars with the air conditioning and power steering and power disc brakes, power convertible top, great sounding dual exhaust. It's just an awesome, awesome muscle car to have some fun in, okay? All right, I love the look of these cars back here. First off, this has a real 442 bumper with the cutouts in it and the trumpet tips. The rear wing, which we put on the car, which I don't know why I love that. It doesn't say Oldsmobile like it's not supposed to right here. It's got the 442s, okay? Calling it out so people know. And anytime you talk about a 442, first off, if you're into cars at all, they just know. They're legendary, plus they look great, okay? All right, let's look at the detail here. And this is the kind of stuff that we do a little different. You know, there may be the others, maybe everybody else does it too. I don't know. I don't see it that way, only because I keep doing this to these cars, so it seems to me like they're not. But like we do the decal stuff. We put a spare tire cover on here. We got the right trunk mat in here. Here's a jack and the handle that's working as it should. Okay, we just ordered new weather stripping for the car, so we'll put that on here as soon as this paint dries just a little bit more. Like I said, it was just done. We didn't want to put it on right away and have any issue with having to move it around and adjust it, whatever, in the paint not peeling, or paint peeling and not being properly. Nice trim, jacking instructions, decals look great. It's just, look, and everything fits nicely. It sounds good when you close it. Just kind of really well done. I just love the white top on this car with the white stripes, the W30 call out on the side right there with those stripes there. It just all kind of just flows together. Hey, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about is, you know, when you talk about 30 and 40-year-old convertibles, they get rattly and things like that. My painter, and who's a restorer, and what do I call him, we're partners together and stuff, but he says to me, hey, the car that we're doing right now is a really, really solid, very nice car, and you need to tell everybody that. So I want to make sure you knew that, and here's one of the things that he said. Close the doors. Like, listen to that. They just pop open in your hand. They sound really good. All right, so a couple small things in here. What I wanted you to hear was little stuff. This is how you know a car's got a decent restoration over another one. The key and buzzer works on there. That takes a lot to actually make that thing work 30 and 40 years later. You'd be very surprised. This client here didn't want to cut up the dash, so what we did, so he put a stereo in here. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this stereo and put it inside the glove box. That way the dash looks all stock. It still has the original 2-dial radio here, okay? And it looks cool and looks stock, and I really like that. And this way you get your AM, FM, CD, iPod. It may even be satellite for all I know. All right. This has a nice option here, tilt wheel, power top, which we talked about. It's got full gauges, and here's another nice little feature. Like you say, well, what's the big deal about some of the stuff you're pointing out? Well, I'm going to tell you what some of the big deal is. For instance, like the clock works. Well, what's the big deal about the clock working? Well, the big deal about the clock working is they didn't work a year after they were new. So the fact that they are working now in the car 30 and 40 years later is pretty spectacular. Okay? Just want you to hear, man. It fires right up. Sounds good. Listen to that. It's got the kick panel speakers down here, so things are not cut up and hit. It's got speakers in the rear that are underneath the convertible top. You know, in closing up this video here, it's not a lot you have to talk about because this car just looks spectacular. I mean, seriously, the colors, the stripes, the call-outs, the nice options with air conditioning, tilt wheel, the upgraded sound system, disc brakes, power steering. I think maybe we talked about air conditioning 5 or 6 times, and the reason why is because air conditioning is just really nice to have, especially for old guys like myself who just love wheeling around with the AC going and the top down. Here you can hold 6 people in here if you wanted to. We can easily convert it to buckets in a console with the floor shift if you like, whatever you want, but it's really, really nice as it sits right now. So anyway, find a way to get something cool like this in your life, call us 301-816-1000, 442 Convertible all the way.